Good day, everybody, and what's up? Welcome to the podcast for Selfless Sex and She Comes First. My name is Dr. Nick. Today is March the 15th, 2026, and I hope everyone had a pretty productive week out there. I'm exhausted from work, but that's a whole other conversation. Quick little sidebar. I'm still trying to get this thing back to where it was before. I have this really expensive mixer, yada, yada, yada. And it still sounds like I'm talking through a bag of mashed potatoes. And it sucks, but it'll be okay. So for today's topic, I want to talk about something that I keep seeing on the internet, and I guess it's called the whole manosphere now. MGTOW, MGTOW, men going their own way. What the hell is going on? Holy crap. I've heard stories. I've heard the stories from friends of mine. I've heard stories from women about, just guys are like, you know what, I'm done. Fuck it. It's not worth it. These women are crazy, X, Y, and Z, and on the other side, guys are assholes or something, whatever. I've heard about it before. As a matter of fact, I believe I did a podcast on this topic a couple of years ago. And I just want to see where we were at. And there has been some progress for the good and the bad. So let's talk about that today. So for starters, I had to ask a question. What the hell is MGTOW, MGTOW? So with the help of Google AI, I did a little bit of research, and according to Google, or AI, it says, men going their own way is growing due to a backlash against perceived feminist corruption of society, rising digital anti-feminist narratives, and a desire for male self-empowerment away from relationships. So, in a nutshell, there seems to be a growing backlash among men out there, or a certain population of men who just don't like how society seems to be turning out not in their favor. And it seems to be, and they seem to feel that it's a bias towards women, and it seems to be rooted in feminism. If I'm wrong, stop me. So, continued with the assistance of Google AI, it reported that some of the main motivators and/or drivers for MGTOW include 5 or 6 different things or different elements. Number 1, anti-feminist sentiment. Supporters often believe that Western society is unfairly biased against men due to feminism and seek to detach from this perceived structure. Number 2, online community expansion. Digital spaces, including websites and video channels, have given platforms to men to share stories of divorce, financial losses, and trauma, creating a global army feeling. 3, red pill ideology. MGTOW is a part of a broader manosphere, I've heard of that before, which encourages men to see through what they believe is a gynocentric and/or female-centered societal order. Number 4, desire for autonomy. Members seek to avoid the cost of dating, marriage, and potential child custody battles, focusing instead on personal development. Number 5, media and social influence. Increased content from male influencers, often questioning traditional male roles in relationships and promoting male separatism, contributed to its popularity among younger and older men. And to help to move this conversation along, I came across an article written by Daniel Dashnaw, Dashnaw, called The History of MGTOW, Men Going Their Own Way and the Digital Decline of Modern Masculinity. Interesting. And if you want to read the article yourself, it's pretty good, pretty nice. It came out in June 2025. And basically, he says that it started around the year 2000, and then it just kind of moves forward. And then He says by 2016, MGTOW has become a symptom, not a cause. And he mentions Dr. Jordan Peterson, which I've seen Dr. Jordan Peterson speak on the YouTube many times, and some other things I dig what he says, some things I don't. But doesn't seem like he's like being evil or or malicious or anything like that at all. But he says in some cases he will actually like criticize MGTOW individuals. But what seemed to happen is that some young men who are looking for guidance, they kind of latched on to him and see him as a male role model for the future. And then when it comes to dating, just to turn a quick corner here, there are different sections of the movement where these, I guess, certain men haven't given up on women altogether, but they're talking about I guess the men who are just checked out completely. I guess they're called black pill bros. And then on this side of the coin, you have passport bros who are seeking love from women from other countries. Another group called digital monks who are embracing celibacy as a virtue, not a curse. And black pilled men, those who gave up entirely. So before I go, I have a couple of questions for the community that listens to my podcast, and a couple of statements. Because first, in my experience, just listening to friends of mine, older men who are in their 50s, talk about how they're just done, quote unquote, they don't say more or less. They just say, you know what, I'm just done. And it's like, okay, I'm tired of this shit. And some guys are actually angry, and they are also done. And on the other side of the coin, I've also heard women mention these issues as well. So just hear me out. Number one, some guys are tired of being used as wallets by dating partners, not wives, just dating partners to cover their bills, for their car payments, their utility bills, water bill, hair, nails, etc., and really expensive dinners. And so these guys are just tired of being viewed as a walking ATM. Regarding marriage, now they've been saying the average is around 50% of marriages end in divorce. And I know in the black community, it's around 66%, so it's higher. So why would men take that chance to go into a relationship and actually legally marry somebody when there's a chance that it could end? And to take it a step further, depending on the state and where she lives, she's going to come after the assets that she did not help to create. Now, granted, if you guys are married for 20 years and both of y'all started out struggling and you built something and both of you guys got time in and effort and everything else, all right, you can't really argue about that. But if you're already established and you see this woman, she comes into your life, and now you get married, you put a ring on her finger, and you sign legal documents, then after a few years, she mows half. Huh? Then check this out. So in certain cases, there's child support, and then there's alimony. And for those of you who are not married, and depending on what state you live in, especially in America, the United States, there's something called palimony. So if you don't know what that is, look that up. Number three, there's bad economic times. Now, many guys out there are employed, they could be underemployed. They could, there could be layoffs coming down there, in their future, and they see it. They're stressed out. They don't need someone else already, kind of in their ear about X, Y, and Z. So you know what? If they know what's coming, I'm just going to pull back. So I might have to deal with someone else. So there's a lot of things going on out there right now. And I do have a question for the gentleman. A singles tax. So guys, would you be okay, I guess it's if you're 50, 45 and under, paying a singles tax for those guys who are not married versus actively trying to go out and get married? So maybe you'd pay like $1,000 a year, like $81 a month just to stay single. With that, so that could be coming down the pike, especially with this administration. Who knows? Just a question. So yeah, just to close out this podcast, I just want to say thanks for listening, and say that men going their own way is a real thing now. You can say the movement if you want to, that's fine too. But and then they blame feminism. But I can say this, because I can speaking on the I. When I was growing up, if mom didn't go to work, we didn't eat. So, but she didn't call it feminism. She just called it Monday through Friday. Just getting up doing what she had to do. So I'm sure there's more to it as well. But as I said before, I've heard it from both sides. I've heard men say that they're done, and I've heard women complaining now that they can't find partners. And there's a whole other layer to some of that stuff too, where women want these 6'6" guys, and 6 feet tall, 6-figure income with a 6-inch dick and all that shit. Whatever. Is there some sort of delusion out there nowadays? To what men actually are, because last time I checked, the average salary in America was like 52 grand a year, and they want 6-figure men, and most men are not 6 feet tall. So hey, so just something for you to think about. So on that note, I'm out. You guys have a great day. Stay tuned, and I will talk to you soon.